Okie dokie. Well, just so you guys know, we've not really got a kind of incredibly well-polished talk. This is kind of very conversational, as you've probably already realised. It's really fantastic to have you all here and join us for the Digital No Jobs in the Arts Fringe in partnership with UK New Artists. And during this talk, we're essentially going to be introducing the Fringe, introducing the kind of the program, its theme. We're going to have a wonderful conversation with Michelle Bowen, who is the kind of director of UK New Artists and has been involved in the kind of East Midlands art scene for many, many years, and has done wonderful, wonderful things. Of course, No Jobs in the Arts aims to support early career artists, curators, producers, anyone in the visual arts, and we've kind of tried to schedule the program around that. No Jobs in the Arts is a collaboration between myself and the amazing Charlie Collins, who is over there. And yeah, if it's okay now, I'll pass you over to Michelle, who will probably give you a far better kind of overview of what it is she does than me.
Okay, thank you very much, Ryan. And I had sort of snapped that the years and years and years, you know. I am but a whippersnapper. You know, I've got my facelift on today, but yeah, I have been around for a while, as they say. But in this context, I'm Michelle Bowen. I'm the director of UK New Artists. Just to share, some people will be aware of us, some people won't. So I just wanted to share a little bit about who we are. We're a registered charity. We're based in the East Midlands, but we're a national and international organisation. We've recently changed our name very officially, but we've been sort of trying it out for about a year, from UK Young Artists to UK New Artists, because we wanted to be much more inclusive and representative of kind of creativity in the UK right now. So currently, if you are within sort of 10 years of practice, regardless of your age, then you know, UK New Artists is the kind of place for you. So what is our purpose? Is to kind of champion the next generation of creativity, supporting collaboration and intercultural dialogue, ensuring a sort of vibrant and diverse creative future for the UK. We work across all art forms, and as such, we kind of looked at what was the connector with all these art forms. You know, they all require different markets, different things, different ways of working. So how can we work with all these amazing artists who choose to articulate their work in certain ways, be it textiles, performance, painting? And we realized that they all shared this, their brain, their creative brain. That's the connector. And so that's what we're interested in developing, the creativity that enables artists to be artists and enabling that to be shared with each other, with them, with their sort of peers, I suppose. One of the ways in which we support this is through city takeovers. They take place every 2 years. Across the East Midlands. This year it would have been happening right now in real life in Leicester. Would have been opening. We would have been all been slightly hungover from an opening party last night. Oh, those were the days, weren't they? And getting out and about and seeing and enjoying lots of amazing work. However, you know, COVID had other plans, but we would have been delivering that in Leicester, and No Jobs in the Arts was a really important partner and our fringe event to the city takeover in Leicester. It would have seen up to 80 artists showing, performing, connecting and learning in the city. And as I said, like many events, sadly, we've had to postpone due to the pandemic, but we are currently looking at new plans when we can make this happen again in the future. So, you know, this is a fringe event to, you know, to really celebrate kind of creativity in the region, but nationally, this sort of the creativity of this generation of work. So we're incredibly grateful to No Jobs in the Arts who have put this together, and a really amazing and insightful program, and taken it online with not much notice for artists to enjoy, connect and learn from. So we really appreciate that. Thank you to Ryan, thank you to Charlie, thank you to all the facilitators of be working very hard over the next couple of days. Thank you very much to Laura and Aja for all their hard work in bringing this together. We are beyond delighted to be able to support this amazing project, and we look forward very much to continuing to work with No Jobs in the Arts, but maybe in real life. Ooh, that would be so nice. But we look forward to that today when that happens. So thank you, and really good luck for an amazing couple of days. I think it's going to be really informative and really, yeah, feeding that creative soul.
Fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And we kind of thought for the rest of this event, it would be fantastic if myself and Charlie and Michelle could kind of engage in a bit of an open dialogue about the festival, and maybe have a bit of a chat about the things behind the scenes that maybe would never actually get shared. Talk about a kind of few key questions, like the idea of the theme of the festival. So we kind of came together with this idea of collaboration. Why is something like this really important right now, and kind of reflect on this transition that we kind of experienced, going from a physical event, as Michelle described, in Leicester, and then moving to this almost strange and alien digital platform, which has now become home to us all. So I suppose, if it's all right with you two, if we could kind of go into that idea and discuss this festival's theme, which is collaboration. Charlie, would you mind kind of kicking us off and suppose explaining our thinking behind why it was that we wanted to set the theme on collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us it was sort of a natural kind of theme to turn to. With our projects recently, it's been about partnering with people and kind of bringing in different skill sets. And I think we both liked the idea of kind of sharing that with other people, and showing how collaboration is a really good tool for bringing artists together and starting a conversation. And I think we're sort of hoping that these events are just a starting point, and hopefully they'll inspire more collaboration beyond that.
Definitely. And Michelle, I suppose, why is it that you think creatives or emerging in kind of young or kind of early career creatives should collaborate? I suppose you've seen kind of development, or you've helped develop so many amazing artists across the country. Why is something like this important?
It's important because it's a cornerstone of UK new artist work. Whatever we do, we try, and well, we don't try, we really achieve, I think, an element of collaboration in all of our work. So, you know, when we're working internationally, we don't just go out with, you know, artists and then work in country. We work very much collaboratively with other artists who are also based in that country, having those kind of conversations, the dialogue, the sharing of ways of working and thinking and ideas, particularly globally, is something that's really close to our hearts. And how much that kind of collaborative process, not just in the collaboration of making, I think it's the, you know, collaboration and being, you know, together. You know, collaboration is about being together. It's about sharing. It's about owning that space and everybody being a part of what that is, and putting something in and taking something out of that kind of experience. That's kind of collaboration as well. Obviously, we've had lots of successes in the past with people who have met and gone on to collaborate on work. Jamal Sherritt, who is an amazing kind of dancer, is probably not the right word. I don't think he'd appreciate the use of that word, but who enjoys kind of physical movement and takes that out onto the streets, collaborated with another artist who uses his physicality, called Sadegh. Is it Sadegh Ali, Laura?
Sadegh Al Alimard.
Yeah, and they met at a city takeover we did in Derby, and they really connected, even though they were, you know, Jamal was probably in his early 20s, and Sadegh was probably coming up to, you know, about 30 at that point, so you wouldn't think they'd have much in common perhaps, but they really connected, they really got each other, and they learned a huge amount from each other, and they ended up creating a new piece of work which they then took to a festival in Albania and presented, which is available on for view on our YouTube channel, not in full, but sort of snippets. And yeah, so we've had those kind of classic collaborations, but I think what is also the case with our artists is that network, that collaborative network that you can call on and reach on because you have found, you've been in this space and connected with somebody. And I think that our platforms offer a real insight and way and form friends and connectors and collaborators which are with people for many, many years. And, you know, I think that support system is really important in terms of that kind of collaboration, I suppose. In terms of why should create another sort of point of view on that kind of creatives collaborating, you know, in my many years out there, I've seen the kind of the way that artists work become much more fluid. You know, back in the day, a painter was a painter was a painter, and you talked to other painters and you went to painting things, and, you know, it was quite a silo. But now you find, you know, you're a visual artist who might paint, who might film, who might make music, who might write. And so something that New Artist offers this kind of space to, you know, really connect and share on all the different levels in which artists express their creativity, which I think is, again, you know, something really interesting in terms of that collaboration, how, again, it feeds into an artist's work. Being able to not just to talk to your sector, you know, I think is really valuable.
That's a really lovely idea, this way of seeing collaboration as a creative catalyst, something that kind of incubates and makes us stronger. I think that's a really pertinent theme that definitely resonates with us in terms of what No Jobs has been doing recently. I think Charlie, we've kind of had a bit of thinking around what it is to produce something creative, haven't we? And we've been kind of talking about the creative conversation.
Yeah, I think it's kind of dawned on us that the way that we work is a lot to do with this collaborative conversation almost. And we sort of work a lot through open calls and inviting people to work with us. And it's sort of that bringing in other people and creating this collaboration to create projects that wouldn't necessarily happen between the two of us. And it's sort of lovely to think that this festival could be a catalyst for that happening externally of us and externally of UKNA, that people will go off and have those conversations themselves.
And we often talk about talking a project into existence. So we have what we kind of call a dialogical process. So we just chat to each other essentially, which is a lovely experience. But I suppose 1 in 20 of the things that we talk about in terms of our collaboration actually end up happening. And I suppose this is the rare circumstance where we've had a wonderful support network and lots of lovely help off UKNA and been able to kind of bring you all together here. And we have a fantastic program lined up. And I wondered if Charlie and Michelle, if perhaps you'd share maybe something that you've seen on the program that you're really excited about, or there's an idea in there about collaboration perhaps that you'd like to draw out.
I mean, certainly for me, I'm going to be joining the one tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, because to me, that's really important to hear what artists want. You know, we're particularly with the artists we're supporting, and, you know, that trying to keep abreast of that, and really, you know, making sure that we are delivering and doing what our emerging artists need is extremely important. So, you know, we need to have our ear to the ground. We need to hear what people are saying, what people are needing, to make sure that we're delivering on that. You know, we're not out of step. So for me, I'm really excited to hear directly from artists, as always. You know, that's a very important part of who we are, is to have that dialogue. So yeah, that's a kind of highlight for me. And hopefully we'll be on the right track. Not suddenly, oh, okay. I've had to do some rethinking, but yeah, that will be one of my highlights.
Fantastic. And how about you, Charlie? Is there anything that, what are you really looking forward to?
I was just going to say, I definitely agree with Michelle that it's amazing to hear straight from the artists, from the creatives. And I know that our two panels with our curators and with Leicester Zine Library will be really interesting, because it's sort of the other side of that. Instead of the artists, it's the people collating that and presenting it to us. And that'll be really nice, because that's sort of what we do through No Jobs and UKNA, is bring people together. And that'll be really nice to see a different perspective on that. Yeah,
I think that's a good point, because I think we're both helping and supporting and enabling, but from a sort of, you know, two different angles, which is great, you know what I mean? I just want to bring up a point where you were talking about collaboration, that collaborative conversation, and I wanted to make a point about the importance of the organicness of this process. You know, we try to really kind of ensure that there is time and space to be organic and to collaborate, and not force collaboration. You will work together, you will enjoy this, you will, you know, you will make something, but there is just putting in the elements in place that something will come out of it. And actually, as an organization, I've always been quite proud that we're kind of very open-ended in not expecting an outcome. You know, it's okay if there's not an outcome. If it was just been an amazing 2 or 3 days where there's just been energy and conversation and people have gone away, you know, like kind of kick-started again in terms of their thinking and how they approach their work, that's completely fine by me. I don't need to kind of see something. However, I was putting together a presentation, and I found a picture we did with the project United, which when we worked in Leicester with Norwegian artists and UK artists. And there's a great picture we did where we had a Kathak dancing workshop with Akasha Dedra. I mean, that's a great honour in itself. But I looked at poets, painters, musicians, staff, me, you know, all in this space, all learning something new, all collaborating with Akash, varying different levels of success, but actually, you know, really pushing ourselves, and kind of the energy that people had after that workshop just got us all kind of fired up and sparking in other ways about what they would like to do, and just involving. I just thought, God, I remember that was really exciting. It was really hard. It made me realize, you know, the work that goes into how, you know, all these other art forms, but how sort of, yeah, energized people were by doing that and doing something out of their comfort zone, was, yeah, really different. And, you know, how it brought people together actually in that collaborative sense, that they were all in this space, all doing it, and was a really nice way of bringing people together. So
that's the idea of kind of setting the space or creating the environment that fosters creativity and fosters collaboration is key. And I see what you're saying, that you can't really force it. It has to be a kind of a natural thing. And now I'm just thinking back to the kind of the moment that me and Charlie kind of started working together. And the thing it was just a one-line email. It was, hello, I like what you're doing, Charlie. Do you want to talk about something that could happen? And that kind of fostered what we ended up doing with the No Jobs, and trying to work locally in the region and encourage people to kind of hop those borders and just say hello to each other. And that's one of the kind of the wonderful things that's come out of switching to this digital platform now, is that we have this tool that connects us all, and we have this opportunity to have those critical conversations, and we can all be in the same place at the same time without the need to kind of have to take a train for 2 hours or ride a bus for 30 minutes and that kind of thing. So I suppose I wanted to kind of lead the conversation onto this idea of this transition to digital format, and how do you kind of both feel about collaborating in the digital realm? How has your experience been so far, and do you think it's going to continue after kind of once we start going back to the physical again? How has the art changed in terms of collaboration?
I would say from UK New Artist point of view, you know, obviously it felt initially that very much sort of forced upon us. You know, we really always enjoyed meeting in real life and having real life kind of connections, and, you know, that was a huge part of what we are. So initially it was kind of like, not really sure about this. But reflecting back on the year, and myself and Laura were having a conversation, in real life will be important, you know, and I really want to come back to that. I don't want to remain here in this little square. However, we did see the value of it being a tool which, you know, so for example, we won some of our weekenders, we've done them in St Ives and Skegness and Blackpool, and actually getting people together ahead of those events to see each other, to meet, to talk, would be a really valuable platform, rather than just suddenly turning up in a strange place. And again with Leicester, you know, having everybody who was involved in the city takeover online, talking, seeing each other, getting a sense, reading chats and comments, you know, started to kind of bring that group together. So we certainly see a place for it. Am I entirely convinced about the creativity it brings out? I don't know. I can't pinpoint a time when I've been in this space. It is a great communication tool, without doubt. This is about, you know, getting information out there. You know, this is a way of kind of like, here I am, I'm being seen. I think there is still a struggle for people to, you know, to be creative, have a conversation. Yeah, that organicness is, you know, it feels still a little stiff. Even when we were, you know, we joined sort of like, you know, 10 minutes early, we were all just sort of, what do we do now? You know, like, what do we say? Obviously, we have nothing to say to each other because nobody's done anything. However, you know, for me, I haven't got my head around that unnatural space to think, to breathe, to be creative, to, you know, to problem solve, to share. You know what I mean? What do you think, you guys? I mean, if you'd have had to have followed up with that email that you were talking about and had to start that conversation online, do you think it would have been different?
We did, actually. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, because I sort of live right in the north of the East Midlands, in North Derbyshire. Obviously, Ryan's in Nottingham. So for us, it was sort of, we get asked the question a lot about how you kind of transferred your working online, but we sort of have always done that. But I can definitely agree that the few chances we did get to meet in person, go to exhibitions and launches and events were probably some of the most creative times, because you're looking at work together and you're seeing what the region is doing and what the artists are doing. So it definitely is a transition to working online, I think, and there isn't that organic kind of, you can see it in front of you and it's, you know, you're experiencing it.
But at that same time, I've been absolutely blown away by the creativity that we've kind of got on the program, and I'm seeing many of the artists in this chat, and their ideas and their workshops and their ways of bringing people together on this tool or platform has been incredible, and we're really looking forward to kind of seeing how it comes together over the next few days and hours, and how this kind of almost physical program works in a digital context.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the ways of bringing people together and the ways of getting them kind of to create again. And I appreciate some people at the moment are struggling to be creative, and for some people that this will be a kind of key resource that hopefully will encourage them to make something amazing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate, Michelle, that you need to shoot because you've got a very important meeting to plan more amazing creative things.
Yes, but I'd like to sort of underline what you've just said. I mean, I think this is, you know, we are all in this space, and I think this is an incredibly valuable resource. That's why we've, you know, we are very keen to support and continue to work with you, and this platform is amazing, and I think we will all learn a huge amount from it. You know, there's no two ways about that. And I think in these times, particularly in the East Midlands, you know, when we've been nearly in lockdown for probably nearly 6 months. You know, it just didn't just happen to us in January. We'd already been there for months and months and months already. So, you know, we're already kind of, you know, putting our fingernails in the wall, so to speak. So I hope that all the participants will give over themselves in this process and make the most of this platforms, and, you know, put something in to get something back. I think that's how it best works. Sometimes there can be that wall, you know, inhibits things. So I think it's a two-way process. So I hope everybody who, you know, has signed up really, you know, gets what they want out of it and participates and fully kind of engages. I think that's the best way it will work, and for everybody to kind of join. But you know, it's a stunning program. You've worked so hard, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow morning session. And I'm also looking here, we're having a digital dinner tomorrow evening with all of our Leicester City Takeover artists, many of whom will be participating in these 2 days. So I'm excited to hear what they have to say, and I'm sure they'll be buzzing from it as well. So thank you for asking me to be part of this, and I'm sorry I can't be there for all of this. As you say, it's such an important meeting, such an important person, but I really value seeing you all, and I really wish you all have an amazing couple of days. All right, be good, take care.
Michelle,
thank you very much.
Bye everybody, have a great time. Bye.
Oh, nice to see you.
As we kind of move on, we were going to open up to a kind of 15-minute Q&A to talk about anything about the festival, anything about No Jobs in the Arts, anything about UKNA artists. I know Laura has kindly offered to step in and facilitate any questions from the UKNA artist side. If there's anything you'd like to chat about, if there's anything that was raised in that conversation that you'd like to kind of draw out into another conversation. So I was just going to throw the board open. If you don't want to kind of raise the question through the video or through kind of speaking, you can also put it into the chat, and we'll use it as a prompt. So yeah, it's over to you guys if you how you'd like to use this 15 minutes.
I don't have a question, but I wanted to just like add something in about one of my favourite stories of collaboration, and funnily enough, I can see Hannah's face in front of me, was Hannah, who is a musician, goes by Asthmatic Harp, and Roma, who met at our City Takeover in Nottingham. And following from the City Takeover, one of Roma's poems became the lyrics for one of Hannah's songs, and it's called Limbo. Is that correct, Hannah? Yeah, I think it's actually like one of my top listened to songs on Spotify because I just love it. It's amazing. It's such a fantastic piece of music and a fantastic piece of writing, and it really is one of my favorite stories on collaboration. So everybody should go to Spotify and listen to Limbo by Asthmatic Harp.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, well, I mean, it's what was really fun about that story. It was just thinking about like forced or non-forced collaboration. And what was interesting actually about this was that we basically met at an event where I wasn't initially supposed to be performing. So we were both performing at this event, and it was just a bit of a coincidence that we sort of happened to be in that room on that night. And Roma's poem was just well, all her poems were amazing, but it was just, yeah, it was really nice. It was one of those moments where I don't know if you could have anticipated it or you couldn't have planned it either. It was just about being there together at the same time. And I think that that's what I've experienced with UK new artists. That's what I was really experienced, like these, you know, just these moments where you happen to be in the room with somebody and you just connect. I think that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's I suppose one of the hardest things about Zoom is that sometimes these collaborations, they spark over dinner or like over a drink or over breakfast, or, you know, just walking across like the city or something. So yeah, that it's those kind of natural occurrences that could be harder to get via Zoom. Although I suppose we're all still kind of learning in this environment, and, you know, our behaviours and patterns might shift. So we may find, I think, over today and tomorrow, that attending some of these workshops or these crit sessions, I think perhaps particularly those kind of crit sessions where artists get to kind of feed back on each other's work and kind of support development and learning, I feel like those are the type of things that you may kind of think, I really want to like follow up with that artist and find out more about what they do. And so yeah, I hope people can kind of seize those opportunities over these couple of days to really connect further than just a Zoom.
You have that wonderful opportunity, don't you, I suppose, online, where you can instantly look somebody up and someone can redirect you to the rest of their portfolio or the rest of their work, and you can just click and kind of do it as the conversation continues, which is wonderful. And I saw earlier that Rebecca kind of unmuted yourself. Was you kind of was there a point that you wanted to make or a comment?
I was just going to kind of introduce myself because I just feel like obviously I haven't said much or anyone else, so kind of just get to know me as a person. So yeah, so I'm a dancer who would like to produce professional work for like stage production, video production, like in musical theatre, cabaret, and would like to do events and festivals and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to like kind of collaborate with like different artists so that I can actually be able to produce work for like events and entertainments and stuff like that, because I've recently started a company called Beckstar Entertainments Productions. And because I'm kind of new, I've always been like that dancer, like a dance act. So from that to actually being like a manager of like events and entertainments, I'm kind of on a journey of like kind of looking out for like artists and collaboration and stuff like that, so I can be able to produce stage work and stuff like that. So and festivals. So yeah, I unmuted myself just to kind of introduce me as a person, as an artist, and then hopefully everyone else can introduce themselves as well. And yeah.
It's fantastic to hear that people are kind of coming almost as like a networking opportunity and being able to share their work and their practice with each other. I think that's fantastic, and I hope that you are able to engage with some people that perhaps you may like to work with in the future. And as Michelle was saying earlier, this idea that there's a catalyst for change or a catalyst for kind of making new work and going places. So that sounds fantastic, and I hope to meet more of you guys, and I hope we all get to meet each other as the different events go on kind of throughout the festival. I see in the chat that someone has posted, Shannon, about the transition from the digital to the kind of the physical, and that they wouldn't have come across the event without kind of oh, okay, so it's fantastic to hear. Is anyone else kind of is anyone else using this festival as a kind of a way of looking at creativity differently, or going about overcoming a creative block? And would anyone like to kind of perhaps share what it is, how the kind of the pandemic has perhaps had an effect on their creativity.
I was. Oh gosh, sorry, Aja. I was going to take after Rebecca actually and introduce myself. So I'm City Ambassador for Leicester City Takeover. So I'm GCN. But in answer to your question, Ryan, most definitely, it's very much a different kind of window onto the world. Normally we sit around tables or in audiences and auditoriums. It is quite a useful tool to observe. In a generous way, not in sort of like a pokey way. And I'm going to be pretty much present throughout the whole next couple of days, as I would have been were I in Leicester, happening in real life. I'm based in Leicester, so kind of I'm kind of missing it, being out in the open air. But yeah, it really does give an insight into being able to understand what is creativity now. What does it even mean? What does it ever mean? What did it ever mean? And how we do interpret the state that we're in and to go forward. So it really is an opportunity for me. So it's a window on various levels. So yeah, thanks to Rebecca for that sort of like, I'm going to introduce myself, kind of stepping up. I love that. More of that, I think. I'd like to see more of that over the next couple of days. Yeah, Michelle.
Well, in that case, then, if we'd like to make the most of the 6 minutes that we have left of this event. If people would like to quickly introduce themselves, say 30 seconds, and just jump in and go for it and take off that lead, and please go for it. If that's how we'd like to use this 6 minutes, then let's do it.
Hi everyone, I'm Valeria. Oh, hi Olin, I saw that you just did it as well. Sorry. I am one of the artists that was invited for the Fringe Festival. Super excited to be here. BA Fine Arts student in my last year. I'm interested in dialogical art practices, therefore based on dialogue and conversation as a way of making art. And yeah, this is me.
Thanks, Val.
Hi, I'm Olwen Davis. I work with UKNA, and I was and still am kind of programming the live events, but obviously now all of COVID that has happened. And just to let you guys know, I'm going to be around for most of the events that are happening this weekend. And if you do want to drop me an email, then you are more than welcome to. Like, my main thing is performance, so you can ask me any questions if you want to. And I guess I wanted to kind of say on the last topic of, because I also make work as well. And I think that it's been a really amazing time, like, to interact with a new form of digital, but I also think we need to be really kind to ourselves if we haven't been able to. And I know personally, I have tried to be creative, but I've really struggled. I just felt like I haven't had the capacity. So just for anyone who is sharing that feeling as well, that you're kind of like, oh, I know loads of people who's kind of embraced all this form and done loads of creative stuff. I think it's also totally legit and fine if you haven't been able to do that. So nice to see everyone.
Thanks, Owen.